Folks, welcome to the Taylor Tax Show. Big Al, why don't you kick us off this week?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Big Al, and I love my mama. I got my friend and business partner, Terrence Cotton Pickin' Taylor, um, on our podcast. So this is a kind of a detour from our regular type of content. However, it's still tax based, and it's still for the highly paid, highly taxed, high profile individual. So what do you want to talk about? What do you want to get into
Well,
right
Big
now?
Al, let's chop it up. I just got back from 2 weeks of travel where I went to Dallas, Texas, and we hosted a community event for folks in the African community to begin financial literacy and financial education conversations about taxes, insurance, right? Then I had a chance to go um, to my beloved continent of Africa, where I spent some time looking at a few of the countries and speaking on a few stages and giving tax tips and
Yeah.
chopping it up with folks. And most exciting for me though, Big Al, you know this because we worked on this together. My
Mm-hmm.
2023 tax refund was finally deposited in my account on the 25th of
Yeah.
October in the year of our Lord 2024. And
All day.
folks, I think those who know my story know that in 2021, I owe 93,000 in additional taxes after paying something ridiculous like over 200,000 plus in taxes. I think it might have been closer to 300,000 in taxes. And then in 2023, thanks to Big Al and tax strategies that we share with you all. So Big Al helped me to make sure that the accounting side was good because we always tell you you need both tax strategies and a accountant. And in my case, my partner here is both. I focus strictly on the strategy. So we dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's and just got a refund back of over 78K, Big Al.
Magnificent, magnificent. And I was just telling you right before we jumped on this podcast,
Yeah.
that's literally, I know several people in my friend group, especially that I grew up with back in Alabama. That's more than their annual salary. I know a lot of people, but it's more than their annual salary. So first of all, kudos to you for
Thank you, sir.
not accepting the idea that, hey, I'm highly paid, so I just pay my fair share of taxes. Maybe that's the conversation we need to have. Fairness. I've got two kids, right?
Yeah,
Brooklyn and London. I'm crazy
yeah,
about these girls,
beautiful
and
girls.
and a lot of times they run up to me
Mhm.
about who had the iPad the longest or who had this TV show the longest, and they say it's not fair. It's not
Right.
fair. And I'm like, look, quit looking at things from a fairness aspect, all right?
Mhm.
But there is a thread of truth about things being fair and not lopsided or leaning in one child's favor over the other child. All
Right.
right. So now when we're talking about the tax code and taxes, we're all of us are Americans. All right. There's no I don't even like the idea of upper class or not upper class. What's the term with medium income household,
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
um, so on and so forth, or so on and so forth. But it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to
High
say is
income.
this is yeah, is that we need to make sure that we understand that fairness really is
The
everybody.
definition of the tax code.
Yeah, well, yeah, the definition of the tax code. But the thing is the tax code
Mm-hmm.
is built and written in a way that allows everybody to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's not just for rich people.
Yeah.
It's not just for middle class. Yeah, that's what
Mm-hmm.
it was. Middle class, upper class, and lower class. I hate those the idea. That's why we say highly paid, highly taxed,
Tax.
high
Yeah.
profile, because that's factual, it's objective.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
upper class, middle class, lower class income, I don't like that. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is this is that regardless of how much you make, if you understand the code properly, then that's how you get to your fair share of taxes. A lot of the stuff that we hear spewed in government about paying your fair share and the billionaires need to pay their fair share or whatnot, it's I think it's a miscommunication, or maybe a misdefined type of rhetoric, because Terrence, you are now being treated fairly that you got that $78,000
Yeah.
refund. You were
Yeah.
not being treated fairly when you were paying $78,000 more than what you were supposed to pay. Do you follow what I'm saying?
No, I follow
So,
exactly what you're saying, because one of the things we wax lyrical about, and one of the things that gives us a lot of energy in this work, is the tax code is pretty transparent and the tax courts are pretty unequivocal, meaning that they've been consistently saying the same thing. You have a responsibility to pay the minimum taxes allowed by law, and not a penny, not one penny more.
mm-hmm.
So once you understand the tax code and once you begin to operate according to the tax code, then you start to understand that that word fairness has a different meaning. So, Big Al, politically speaking, the ultra wealthy are seen, and there's lots of evidence to say this, to pay less than their fair share. But they pay according to what the tax code allows. And one of the reasons we got into this space is we want to democratize the sophisticated strategies that they use and share them with any taxpayer who wants to understand how to legally reduce and save a bunch on their taxes.
Definitely,
Right. So
definitely.
that's why we always kick off our podcast by letting you know that this is what the podcast is all about. So, folks, we just wanted to chop it up a little bit and share some brief updates with you. And
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
episode that you go ahead.
No. I'll give you a couple more testimonies. I had another client that just received $30,000 from um, the employment retention tax credit, $31,000 that they were due several years ago, but were unfairly not given it when it was available to everybody. And I had another client that just received. We actually appealed a decision by the state of California about a huge tax assessment, or I'll say a pretty decent tax assessment that they had, and got that reduced by more than 65%. So there's so many things out here where we're getting hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, you know, led astray, that because of a lack of
Yeah.
knowledge. And there's a verse in
For
the Bible
lack
that
of
says,
knowledge, the people perish. That's what
perish.
you're going to
Exactly.
call.
Yeah. That's exactly what look, where there we are. There we go. But no, that's exactly what I was leading to. And the
Yeah.
thing is that we are knowledge workers for
Yeah.
all intents and purposes.
Yes,
Please
sir.
use our
Mhm.
insights, watch these podcasts, check out
Yeah.
the channel, and
Yeah.
ask us questions. We can even
Hmm.
include some of your questions if you put them in the comments in our
Yeah.
future podcasts, because we
Sure.
want to make sure that we give you the knowledge. That's what Terrence is talking about with democratizing this
Yeah.
information so
That's
that
right.
you are treated fairly. Because right now, if you
Hmm.
pay more than your
Hmm.
what you legally have to,
Yeah.
then you are not being treated fairly.
That's so true.
And yeah,
You just want to jump in here, Big Al. The other thing also, folks, is feel more confidence
yeah,
to assert and to demand, if it comes to that, what is fair treatment by the tax authorities. There's a situation where a client moved out of the state of California, and the state of California still taxed them because their company, through the W-2 mechanism, classified their income as being Californian income. And we said to them, no, you don't have to. If you can prove that you moved to a state where there was no income tax, then you can ask California for your money back. and they asked California for their money back, and they got over 30,000 back from California.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
So, folks, this is what Taylor Tax is all about. Thank you for giving us this moment to do something slightly different, and because we have the series that's running on insurance, and we tend to do the podcast specifically on topics, but we just wanted to give you this update. Big Al, take us home.
Hey, well, look, thanks so much for allowing this segue onto your screen and letting us, wax lyrical, as Terrence says, about taxes. We're really passionate about it, and we want to make sure that we help as many people out as possible, whether you're in our target market or not. I know we often introduce where this is a podcast for the highly taxed, highly paid, high profile, but even if you're not highly taxed, highly paid, and high profile, a lot of the information that we talk about can be applied to you and you can benefit from it. But thanks so much for joining. Make sure to check out Tax Strategies GPT. And hit us up if you got any other questions. Big Al at TaylorTax.ai and Terrence, Terrence at TaylorTax.ai. Cheers.
And for our high net worth and ultra high net worth taxpayers, we also got love for you. So hit us up.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
All right, folks. See you soon.